Welcome to the Nerd Card. Today we are going to be discussing Back to the Future.
Marty!
How did
the future!
How did I know we were going to get a Doc impression here?
1.21 gigawatts!
That's great. I'm Phil. This is
I'm Chuck. Sure.
And we're going to dive right into it.
I think they know that by now.
I should think so. But
Unless it's your first time, then welcome.
Welcome to the Nerd Card. What we do want to talk about is these little guys right here.
Little fellas right there.
These two little fellas are going to go home with one of you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, we'll tell you how you can enter to win them.
Absolutely.
Very excited about that. It's going to be really cool. We got Doc. We got Marty. And those little guys will be going home with you. So stick around, find out how. Let's dive right into it.
Yeah.
We're going to cover the whole trilogy. And that means...
all three movies.
That means diving right into the first one, because without the first, of course, we don't have any of the other ones.
Right. You don't have 2 and 3 if you don't have number 1. Unless you're Star Wars. Then you have 4.
Then you have 4,
but,
and then 5 and 6, and then
it's a different universe.
It is a different universe. But the thing I find so interesting about the Back to the Future trilogy is it started out with a different actor in the lead role.
Well, yeah, interesting point. Did start out filming with a different actor in the lead role, but he was the second choice.
Whoa, hold your horses, man. What's the problem?
To the actual actor.
Who couldn't do it due to his obligations doing TV.
Universal wouldn't let him. They're like, no.
Right. Well, and as it ended up, he ended up shooting both simultaneously, and we're the lucky ones because we got to see all of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and he was, he was the first choice. Mm-hmm. You know, they wanted Michael J. Fox. I mean, he was a big hit at the time for Family Ties.
Sure.
You know, if you guys are old like Phil and I, and you saw Family Ties when it was on the air.
Don't lump me in with you. I never saw Family Ties.
Sure, whatever. Keep telling yourself that. Family Ties was a great TV show. It was a great sitcom. He played Alex P. Keaton.
Yeah.
That was his really rise to fame. Such stars like Courtney Cox were guest stars on
Tom
Family Ties.
Hanks came in and played a drunk uncle.
Yeah, so there was a lot of... It was a really influential TV show, and he was the part of it that made it.
Sure.
So when they wanted him for Back to the Future, Universal was very like, no. Robert Zemeckis movies hadn't done very well before that.
Well, they've done well since then.
They've done well since that.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
But before that, he didn't have a great track record. He had one good movie before that.
Sure.
Romancing the Stone.
Right.
But previous to that, most of his other movies were kind of not big successes. But he had, he had Big Daddy Spielberg as his backer, who believed in him, and that's very helpful.
That's a carte blanche in the industry, right?
Yeah, kind of. I would guess. I don't know. I haven't had the pleasure.
Want.
I wouldn't know, but I would suspect so.
I would think so.
But yeah, so fortunately, circumstances turned out where they were able to get Michael J. Fox because it just wasn't working. Stoltz was a different kind of actor. He's not really wasn't comedic at the time.
Exactly, it just brought something way different to the role. If you've seen any of the test footage, it just
and
looks,
I have.
It looks wrong.
Yeah, and he's just not that guy. Only time that I've really seen Eric Stoltz be funny is in Pulp Fiction, and it's a whole different mood. So
sure, yeah,
and it's not like a joke funny. It's like a oh my god, this is stressful, so we're laughing funny.
Right, it's a whole different scenario. Yeah, for sure. But luckily, we did get Michael J. Fox, and he is. I mean, without him in the role, the movie is not as successful.
Well, just his delivery,
His delivery is great.
He's perfect. Yeah. He's one of those roles that Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly. That's just...
Yeah, and still is. He's gone on, I think it was Kimmel.
Yeah.
Him and Christopher Lloyd went on as Doc and Marty.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It was just last year.
And all those roles are like that in this movie. That's one of those films that, even though, Crispin Glover is George McFly, although they did have a different guy play George McFly in the second movie and third movie. They did him up to make it look like Crispin Glover and didn't have many lines, so you wouldn't know. but he's perfect for
actually used
that role.
his facial prosthetics. They had made some for the first movie, a cast of his face, and they made facial prosthetics to put on another actor to make him appear that way. As a matter of fact,
because they couldn't agree to terms with Mr. Crispin Glover.
Exactly. And Crispin Glover sued him, settled out of court. But what ended up happening as a result of that is the Screen Actors Guild actually changed some of their rules with using an actor's likeness.
Well, they should. I mean, that's not fair to Crispin Glover that they were able to do that.
Right.
No matter what his salary demands were. I think it was he wasn't getting paid as much as Michael J. Fox and Lorraine. Name Leah Thompson.
Yes.
Slipping my tongue at the moment. But he wasn't getting as much money as they were.
Right. By about half, actually.
Yeah. So he wanted, and I understandably so, wanted more money.
Sure.
Because he originally had a larger part in the second and third movies than they did.
Well, they wrote his George McFly passing away in the second one because of that.
Right. He was supposed to be a much bigger part of the second two movies.
Exactly. And he was actually offered twice what they originally offered him and turned it down.
If you've ever seen an article with Crispin Glover or an interview or read about other stuff he's done, I have friends who've actually met him as extras in movies here in Detroit. By all accounts, he's an eccentric fella.
Yes, he's an odd duck.
So
for sure.
I'm sure that after they offended him the first time, it was just done.
That was that. Yeah. Well, and frankly, he had a bit of a legitimate beef with the first movie, and that was not the money aspect of it. Actually, his beef with the first movie and what caused the rift in the first place was that he didn't like that the McFlys saw winning as material possessions, just having more money and having a better house and having better cars and all of that. He's like, no, they should learn a better lesson than that. And he's kind of got a point. That really
he does,
is.
but I mean the 80s. I mean, Madonna was famous for a song called "Material Girl" in the 80s.
That's very, very true. Yes.
The 80s were all of the height of materialistic.
It was
goals.
Materialistic, yeah, certainly it was.
And that continued into the 90s, but the 80s, that was king.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Well, and the actual problem, or the bad guy Biff Tannen in the movie is a bully, so it is an anti-bullying thing, and you're a bully and you screw up, and time travel will make you pay.
Not if we strictly follow the rules of time travel. That means no talking to our past selves, no betting on sporting events.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
So maybe that's the message, not, hey, we're time travel and you can get nice stuff.
That's very nice. Thank you very much. Now, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
It's leave. Sound like an idiot when you get it wrong. Just classic stuff. Oh, yeah. Absolutely classic stuff. And I gotta say, the first movie is just a bona fide classic.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely is. But as a trilogy, I feel that they're all exactly the same. I feel they're all that level of classic.
I like the second and third movie, but to me the first movie just stands far above, in my opinion.
Okay.
The first movie's got that total summer blockbuster magic.
It certainly does.
Feeling like there's it was that way with Back to the Future. Is that Ghostbusters has that kind of magic.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park. There's some of those movies that are summer blockbuster tentpoles that are like a whole summer kind of movie.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Which doesn't happen as much now because of the home theater business and wanting to turn around the money and get in a theater and then get the money for the Blu-ray and then get the money. They do that quicker and a quicker cycle now. But when I was a kid,
you had to go to the theater.
You went to the theater, and if that movie was doing really good, it would play the whole summer.
Oh, sure.
It would launch in May and be in the theaters till August.
Well, and it's funny you mention that because I remember going to the theater as a kid and seeing when 2 and 3 came out because they were shot simultaneously or back to to back, I should say. It took 11 months to film both movies together, and they shot them back to back.
Right.
But they also released them in pretty quick succession.
Yeah, 6 months or something.
Yeah, it was really
Which was
quick.
then done again by the Wachowskis for The Matrix.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I remember going to the theater and watching all three.
Yeah. I don't think I did, but I remember that being an option.
Yeah, and that's what we did. We went to a little theater. It's not even a theater anymore. I think it's a doctor's office now, which is funny. But no, it's not a doctor's office. I'm sorry. It's a off-campus, like educational, some college, whatever, which makes a lot more sense in a movie theater. But anyway, we went there, me and my parents, and watched all three movies back to back to back, of course, with bathroom breaks and what have you. But
intermissions, things like they don't do anymore.
Exactly. It doesn't happen anymore. But man, it was so fun to see these back to back to back.
So I went again.
In the theater. And now when I watch them as an adult, I watch them the same way.
Well, yeah, and especially with the Blu-ray releases, they go right into one another, right? It's like really one long movie.
It really, really is. And that's why I say as a whole, it is a classic as well. But I don't disagree with you that Back to the Future, the first movie, it can stand by itself very easily.
I mean, yeah, because when they launched the first movie, there was no guarantee that there would be 2 or 3.
They didn't even consider it.
Yeah,
they didn't think there was going to be when it says to be continued at the end, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale put that in there as a joke. They didn't think there was going to be any kind of a sequel. They put it in there as a joke. And then when part 2 came out, they put to be concluded, and it pissed people off. They were like, really? That's not the end of the movie? You know? So
I want to know where the hoverboards are, Phil. I mean, it's 2021, for goodness sakes.
And that's another thing. Robert Zemeckis was on record as saying, yeah, Mattel produced these for us. And people believed him. So Mattel got inundated with letters asking, when can I get a hoverboard? Can I pre-order it?
When the technology gets invented.
And Mattel had to tell all these people.
Imagine being customer service for Mattel
fake.
at the time.
Operator.
We don't have that technology.
I got my hoverboard right here. Bam.
8-bit, yeah, that one wouldn't.
It is 8-bit, yeah.
That's what you'd look like after you fell down on it when it didn't work.
No doubt. I actually had the NES Back to the Future game, and it was very similar to this. It looked pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun too.
It's a ridiculously hard game.
I believe it. You know, in the second movie, some of the different little, strange cameos you have. I mean, you have Frodo Baggins as the little kid shooting the gun.
His first ever movie role.
Yeah, and you have Billy Zane, who would later become huge in Titanic.
Oh yes,
is one of Griff's goons.
Match is his name. Match, because he's always chewing on a match.
Yeah. Well, I think he's actually in the first one too, is he not?
No, he is in the.
So he's only one of Griff's goons. He's not one of Biff's goons.
No. He's one of Biff's goons,
but not in the first movie.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe
I think they replicated his
goons.
Could be in both.
Yeah, but he wasn't a 2015 goon.
That is correct.
Okay.
He wasn't. But when he goes back in time and Biff is Trump for some reason, which loosely based, it does say it's loosely based on Donald Trump. When Biff is Trump for some reason, he is one of those.
He's trying to make Lorraine great again and not doing a good job.
That's absolutely correct. The forceful love is not the way to do that.
No, usually not.
In any circumstance ever. Yeah. So anyway.
But that's true. I mean, it's the reason his hotel looks like, a Trump casino, and
right, exactly.
It was all intentionally loosely done, as Phil said.
Very loosely done, as Robert Zemeckis says.
But also, again, if you're talking about the 80s and excess and capitalism, Trump was a poster child for that.
Yeah.
Back before he was president, he was just this rich billionaire.
He was Biff Tannen.
Playboy who went around and did crass things because he wanted to.
Yeah.
And
that's what he was in the 80s. And that's
to not be being a jerk. That's just history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go ahead and look it up. Or watch Back to the Future 2, and you can see exactly what it was. But, you know, the really odd thing, and you think of, you know, you got a time travel movie, so of course you're going to be moving forward, you're going to be predicting the future. And moving backward, it's a lot easier to do scenes, I think, in the past than it is in the future.
Well, sure, because the past already happened.
Exactly.
You know what whatever you make a set for, you know what you make.
Right.
What you want to recreate is already, there's a record of it. Trying to do to the future, especially when, unfortunately for the Back to the Future, you know, team, it doesn't seem like it, but 2015 is pretty near future when you're shooting in the 90s.
It's, well, you know, yeah. And they shot Back to the Future 2 and 3 in 88 and 89.
Right.
But still, it's 30 years, less than 30 years into the future.
It's the near future. And some of the technological leaps that they had, I mean, they were pretty aggressive.
Yes.
Now,
definitely aggressive.
Human history, we have aggressively, since the Industrial Revolution, me being history teacher here, have exponentially technologically advanced since the Industrial Revolution. Our technological growth is exponential growth. It's not just...
Oh, certainly.
You know, things in 1500 and 1700 or 1500 and 1300 or even better aren't so different.
Right.
You know, things in 1800 and 1900 are a big difference. Things in 1900 and 2000 are a gigantic difference.
Certainly. And actually, I've loved this illustration of it. In 60 years, we went from the invention of the airplane to landing on the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, when you are then making a movie and you have this exponential, that's a challenge, I think, for any sci-fi.
So Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
When George made Star Wars, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It already happened.
Yeah, it ain't here. Ain't our future.
We lost that technology.
Yeah, or if it doesn't look like it's like what ours is going to be, it's a different galaxy.
Exactly.
Go away. You know, with Back to the Future, you're talking about 2015.
California.
Right?
Yeah, it's that's it. Yeah, you're not in a distant galaxy. You are in Hill Valley, California.
You know, the Cubs couldn't come through and win the World Series.
They did win it in 2016.
Yeah, well, they were off. They missed.
They were off by a year.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare you?
And if you are a Scottish lord, then
I am Mickey Mouse.
But, you know, actually, it's funny you mentioned that because for the 30th anniversary Blu-ray set, they fixed all that. They wrote a storyline where Doc Brown went forward in time to the 2040s and discovered that inventions like hoverboards, like hydrated food, made the human race massively overweight. And then...
So you're saying Robert Zemeckis just watched WALL-E?
Yeah, basically.
And then filmed this?
But it gets worse. So all of the Mr. Fusion machines that power... You know, the time circuits on the time machine spontaneously went nuclear and caused a nuclear winter. So Doc Brown took it upon himself to go back in time and make sure none of those things were invented.
bingo.
That's not how it works.
Well, that's what I heard.
They fixed it. It's actually featured with the Blu-ray set, and it's called Doc Brown Saves the World. How cool is that? They retconned everything and made it fit our actual reality. So that 2015 was the 2015 of the 1980s. And Doc Brown went and fixed it so we didn't all die.
Okay.
I don't know why everyone believes that, but that isn't true.
I didn't write it. Talk to Bob Zemeckis. I didn't do it.
Whoa, Zemeckis cube. I need one of those.
That's just something that happened. But I really do like the fact that, so they fixed the future mispredictions. Mispredictions? I'm going to go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Mispredictions.
Mispostulations.
No.
Misprognostications.
No.
But they also, I really love in the third film, they actually explore a different time period other than 55, 85, 2015. We go all the way back to 1885.
We actually saw ZZ Top's first concert.
Yes, we did. And actually, a member of ZZ Top left us.
Just recently,
unfortunately. But in this movie, they're at their first concert in 1885 and rocking. Apparently, in between takes, they would entertain. Like there was an instance where a camera went down, they went to repair it, and ZZ Top volunteered to just keep playing music. And somebody asked the director, hey, when's the camera going to be fixed? He goes, oh, it's been fixed for like 2 hours. Everybody's just having a good time. So ZZ Top was apparently awesome to have on set.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Well, and they aren't the only musicians featured in Back to the Future either.
Well, Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis is featured, telling them they're just too darn loud.
Playing his own song.
While playing his song. But also we have in both 2 and 3, the bassist of the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Flea.
He's
a minion.
I'm sorry?
He's a minion.
He's a minion.
Hey, Dave, listen up, please.
Of Biff and Griff.
No.
Well, I don't think that he is.
Isn't he one of Biff and Griff's thugs?
No.
Am I misremembering?
No, he is not. But he is like an antagonist. He's the guy who is street racing against Marty at the very end of the movie.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And he also plays a co-worker of Marty in 2015.
I embarrassed you in front of the wizard. Sorry.
You did. It's going to be right there.
You don't know that.
I kind of do.
That wasn't
accepted.
It'll be something else now. Who knows?
You don't know what I am. You don't know what I can do. It's cool, Rick. Doctor Who in this motherfucker.
But yeah, so many musicians within these movies. And that's pretty cool, quite frankly.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, Chuck, I was going to ask you what your favorite moment of the Back to the Future trilogy is.
My favorite moment of the Back to the Future trilogy. That's a good question. For me, I think it's just Christopher Lloyd being Christopher Lloyd. I think it's what I always think of when I think of Back to the Future, and it's a small part, but it's probably a lot of people think of this as just the 1.21 gigawatts.
He freaks out better than most people.
Yeah, I mean,
he's really great at it.
It's really great. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of a creepy premise for a movie. Going to high school with your parents, and then your mom wants to, have sex with you.
It is
it's a little bit of a creepy when you boil it down that way. So I try not to.
When it's handled the right way, though, you're not thinking of it in those terms, and maybe you are. I don't know.
It's pretty right there.
What's right there?
What's your favorite part of the movie? Hopefully, it's not that.
No, it's not that. Okay. No, not at all. I'm going to go ahead and say it's just the way that Marty and Doc play off each other.
Oh yeah, they're a great duo.
They're a wonderful duo with excellent timing. Mm-hmm. There's a great scene. It's in the second one. Marty finally figures out when exactly old Biff gave Biff the sports almanac, and Doc picks him up and he goes, "You're never gonna believe this. We got to go back to 1955." And Doc says, "I don't believe it."
Marty,
it's just great.
It's the future. We have to go to back to 2015. It's not you. It's what are we assholes or something? No, it's your kids.
It's your kids. Right.
It's your kids.
We become assholes or something. And that's another great little bit of trivia. If you watch the end of the first movie and then the beginning of the second movie,
that girl turns into Elizabeth Shue without effort at all. Yeah. But
I think the best part of that particular, because they reshot all the scenes with Elizabeth Shue, obviously, and Christopher Lloyd's performance is completely different. Now, Michael J. Fox's, even Elizabeth Shue mirrors the performance of the first one, and it's just about seamless. And then Christopher Lloyd gets in there, and it's completely different, and it's hilarious. In my eyes, I think it's hilarious.
He probably didn't even use a script. He
probably didn't remember shooting it. Like he just went, "All right, these are my lines. Great, I got it."
Yeah, pretty much.
There's one clip in that scene that's from the original one. It's when he gets the beer can. He's holding his finger to the bottom. He goes, I need fuel. And that's it. Everything else was reshot. It's hilarious to me. But again, in answer to your question, just the banter of those two, I think they're spectacular together.
They are.
It's great. Anything else, Chuck? You had something.
No, that's it.
Well, then that is it. We're going to give it a wrap on Back to the Future, the Back to the Future trilogy, but we want to tell you how to enter to win these little guys. And basically what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to tell us what your favorite movie of the trilogy is and why in the comments below. And in order to be considered for one of these, you have to leave a comment. You have to share the video, and you have to be a subscriber or some combination of that. But either way, you do have to be a subscriber to win. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video, to the channel, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, to SoundCloud, to Spotify, to all of those things. And if you are a commenter and a subscriber, you got a chance to win one of these little guys.
That's it.
That's it. So with that, we'll remind you to check us out on all those places. Share us with all your nerd friends. And with that, we will say, what's on your nerd card?